Have you ever noticed how some people seem full of energy early in the morning, while others can barely get out of bed? The difference may lie in an ancient morning ritual, fasting. Recent research shows that taking a break from eating during the early hours of the day can be the key to a longer, healthier life. Today, I will show you how to implement this practice safely and how it can transform your health and vitality, especially after the age of 60. The power of fasting goes far beyond a simple strategy for weight reduction. It is an ancestral practice that has traversed centuries of human history, redefined by modern science as a powerful tool for organic regeneration. Different cultures, from indigenous peoples to Eastern civilizations, have always recognized the deep connection between periods of food abstinence and natural healing processes. Contemporary scientists have demonstrated how fasting triggers fascinating biological mechanisms. During this period, our bodies enter a state of cellular self-cleaning known as autophagy, where old and damaged cells are identified and eliminated, making way for younger and more functional tissues. It's like an internal maintenance system that silently works to keep us in balance. Research reveals that this practice is not just a passing trend, but a scientific response to the advance of chronic diseases. With rising rates of obesity, diabetes, and systemic inflammation, fasting emerges as a natural preventive strategy. Our body, when temporarily freed from the constant process of digestion, can redirect energy to recovery and restoration processes. Modern understanding of fasting surpasses simplistic views. It is not merely about stopping eating, but rather about creating intelligent metabolic windows that allow the organism to reorganize its functions. Metabolism experts identify that this process can significantly improve insulin sensitivity, reduce inflammatory markers, and even stimulate the production of hormones related to youth. Interestingly, ancient cultures have intuitively practiced this technique. Buddhist monks, traditional communities, and religions like Islam have a long history of fasting as a practice of physical and mental purification. Modern science merely confirms what these traditions have always known. Our body has extraordinary internal self-healing mechanisms when we allow moments of metabolic rest. The fasting revolution lies precisely in its simplicity. It does not require expensive equipment, sophisticated supplements, or restrictive diets. It is enough to understand the basic principles and respect the signals of one's own body. A conscious and gradual approach can completely transform the experience of health and well-being. The hygienic method presents itself as a unique therapeutic approach, grounded in natural principles of healing and organic regeneration. Unlike other fasting modalities, this technique prioritizes the complete detoxification of the body without the use of medication or artificial supplements. Its central focus lies in the organism's capacity to self-heal when freed from metabolic and dietary overloads. The distinctions between hygienic fasting and other methods are significant. While intermittent fasting focuses on specific time windows for eating, hygienic fasting seeks a deeper and more systemic cleansing. Its philosophy transcends simple caloric restriction, proposing a redefinition of the individual's relationship with their nutrition and health processes. Implementing this method requires understanding and proper monitoring. It is not an isolated practice, but part of an integrated lifestyle. Specialized nutritionists recommend associating it with complementary practices such as conscious hydration, organic food, and relaxation techniques. Health professionals highlight that hygienic fasting can be particularly beneficial for individuals with a history of chronic inflammation, metabolic issues, and imbalances in the immune system. The central proposal is to create conditions for the body to perform a true cellular cleanup, eliminating accumulated toxins and restoring fundamental organic functions. The approach considers each organism as a unique system, respecting its particularities and individual needs. Unlike rigid and standardized protocols, the hygienic method values bodily listening and gradual adaptation. Experts emphasize the importance of a gradual transition, avoiding abrupt metabolic shocks. This fasting modality represents more than a nutritional technique. It configures as a philosophy of self-care, where the individual takes charge of their health journey. By understanding the internal regeneration mechanisms, people can develop a more harmonious and conscious relationship with their bodies. Contemporary science continues to validate the principles of hygienic fasting, revealing its potential benefits for disease prevention and the promotion of overall well-being. A holistic approach that invites reflection on our eating habits and life patterns, encouraging a deep and sustainable transformation. The health benefits of fasting take on fascinating forms when analyzed from a contemporary scientific perspective. Recent research reveals profound impacts of this practice on different systems of the human body, especially in combating chronic conditions affecting millions of people. Scientific investigations demonstrate that fasting directly acts on metabolic syndrome, reducing inflammatory markers and significantly improving insulin sensitivity. This intelligent metabolic process allows the body to reorganize its functions, creating a more balanced and resilient internal environment. The intestinal microbiota also experiences extraordinary transformations during fasting periods. Studies indicate that this dietary pause favors the growth of beneficial bacteria, strengthening the immune system and reducing chronic inflammatory processes. It's as if the body performs a true internal cleanup, eliminating harmful elements and restoring balance. The impact of fasting transcends physical aspects, reaching equally impressive emotional dimensions. Researchers have observed significant reductions in anxiety levels and improvements in cognitive functions. Concentration becomes sharper, memory flows more freely, revealing surprising connections between food abstinence and mental health. Testimonials from people who have adopted this practice reveal impressive transformations. Maria, 62 years old, shares how fasting helped her control her diabetes and regain energy. João, a retiree, highlights the improvements in his physical and mental disposition after implementing controlled fasting periods into his routine. Neurologists and metabolism specialists emphasize that fasting triggers neuroprotective mechanisms, stimulating the production of proteins that protect the brain from degeneration. This discovery is particularly relevant for people over 50, offering a natural preventive strategy against cognitive decline. The scientific community continues to investigate the mechanisms through which fasting promotes cellular regeneration. Each research reinforces the potential of this practice as a preventive tool against contemporary diseases, going far beyond fleeting fads. Longitudinal study results suggest that individuals who regularly practice fasting show a lower incidence of cardiovascular diseases, reduced tumor markers, and overall improvements in quality of life. A silent revolution is happening within our bodies, needing only to allow moments of metabolic rest. The relationship between fasting and longevity emerges as one of the most fascinating aspects of contemporary medicine. Scientists have intensely investigated how periods of food restriction can positively impact our life expectancy, revealing surprising biological mechanisms that challenge traditional concepts of aging. Robust research demonstrates that caloric restriction activates cellular regeneration processes, stimulating the production of survival proteins that combat organic wear and tear. This metabolic reprogramming allows younger and healthier cells to replace aged structures, creating a more resilient and adaptable internal environment. Dr. Herbert Shelton, a historical reference in the study of fasting, argued decades ago that our body possesses extraordinary self-healing mechanisms. His scientific observations revealed that during periods of food abstinence, the organism directs energy towards cleaning and restoring processes rather than continuously processing food. Ancient cultures offer impressive evidence of this connection. Buddhist monks, known for their exceptional longevity, incorporate fasting practices as a fundamental part of their spiritual and physical routine. Similarly, Islamic communities that practice fasting during Ramadan show significantly lower rates of chronic diseases. Comparative studies among different populations show that societies with a tradition of periodic fasting tend to have a lower incidence of metabolic, cardiovascular, and neurodegenerative issues. This observation transcends merely nutritional aspects, suggesting a profound interconnection between food abstinence and organic regeneration processes. Modern science identifies that fasting activates the autophagy process, a mechanism wherein damaged cells are identified and eliminated. This phenomenon acts as an internal maintenance system, allowing younger and more functional tissues to replace worn-out structures, creating a more balanced and efficient cellular environment. Japanese and European researchers have shown that individuals who practice regular fasting have significantly more preserved telomeres, structures responsible for determining cellular age. This suggests that the practice not only increases life expectancy, but also improves quality of the years lived. Experts emphasize that this is not a magic solution, but an intelligent self-care strategy. The key lies in understanding that our body has extraordinary internal mechanisms that, when adequately stimulated, can promote health and vitality for much longer. Implementing a morning fasting ritual requires a conscious and personalized approach, respecting each body's individual limits. The first step is to understand that there is no one-size-fits-all formula, but rather a process of gradual adaptation that demands patience and self-knowledge. To begin this journey, it is recommended to start with short fasting intervals, usually between 12 to 14 hours. This means, for example, finishing the last meal by 8 p.m. and resuming eating only at 10 a.m. the next day. This strategy allows the body to experience the metabolic benefits without causing excessive stress. Mental preparation is as crucial as the physical aspect. Cultivating a positive mindset means understanding that fasting is not a punishment, but a self-care ritual. Practices such as meditation, conscious breathing, and visualization can aid in this transition, helping to manage any initial discomforts. Hydration becomes a fundamental ally during this process. Water, unsweetened teas, and herbal infusions are excellent options to keep the body hydrated and minimize feelings of hunger. It is important to distinguish thirst from hunger, allowing the body to progressively adapt to this new metabolic pattern. Beverages like green tea, lemon water, and herbal teas can enhance the benefits of fasting. They not only help with hydration but also offer antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties that complement the organic cleansing process. It is advisable to avoid stimulating drinks like coffee and industrialized beverages during the fasting period. These substances can generate spikes of anxiety and interfere with the natural cellular regeneration processes that the body seeks to achieve. The choice of the ideal moment to start fasting depends on each individual's lifestyle. Some people adapt better in the morning, while others prefer to start in the afternoon. The secret is to experiment, observe the body's responses, and adjust gradually. It is important to note that individuals with specific health conditions, such as diabetes, pregnant women, or those with a history of eating disorders, should consult healthcare professionals before starting any fasting practice. The key to success lies in bodily listening, flexibility, and commitment to well-being. It is not about rigidly following a protocol, but about developing a relationship of respect and care for one's own organism. During the journey of implementing fasting, individuals often face challenges that can seem insurmountable. Intense hunger, irritability, and lack of focus are common obstacles that can discourage even the most motivated. To overcome these barriers, experts recommend mindfulness techniques that help reinterpret the experience. Deep breathing and short meditations can help calm the nervous system, reducing anxiety and compulsive eating impulses. The practice of observing thoughts without judgment allows one to acknowledge discomforts without being overwhelmed by them. Cognitive restructuring emerges as a powerful tool in this process. Instead of seeing fasting as deprivation, it is crucial to reinterpret it as a ritual of self-care and regeneration. Understanding the scientific benefits can transform the experience of suffering into a journey of personal empowerment. Practical strategies such as staying hydrated, engaging in activities that distract from hunger, and establishing a structured routine are essential. Some practitioners report success in occupying their minds with hobbies, reading, or light activities during the initial adaptation periods. Social support also represents a significant differential. Sharing groups, online communities, and specialized apps can offer emotional support and experience exchange. Recognizing that others face similar challenges helps reduce feelings of isolation. It is important to highlight that adaptation is an individual process. Each body responds differently, making it essential to respect one's own limits and not create unrealistic expectations. Some may adapt quickly, while others may need a longer transition time. Health professionals recommend starting with short fasting periods, gradually increasing the duration as the body adapts. The key is in bodily listening, flexibility, and understanding that each attempt is an opportunity for learning. Keeping a journal of experiences can assist in the process of self-knowledge. Recording physical sensations, emotions, and challenges encountered allows for a more conscious analysis of one's journey, identifying patterns and personal strategies for overcoming obstacles. Persistence and kindness to oneself are fundamental. Setbacks will happen, and this does not mean failure, but rather a natural part of the transformation process. Each day is a new opportunity for realignment and personal growth. Expert opinions on fasting reveal a fascinating convergence among different medical fields. Nutritionists, endocrinologists, and gerontologists are presenting consistent evidence supporting the benefits of this ancient practice for human health. Renowned researchers such as Dr. Mark Mattson from the National Institutes of Health in the United States highlight how fasting can activate cellular stress resistance mechanisms. Their research demonstrates that controlled periods of food abstinence stimulate repair and protection processes, strengthening the body against potential harm. Scientific recommendations emphasize the need for an individualized approach. Each body responds uniquely to fasting protocols, making it crucial to respect personal characteristics and specific health conditions. Physicians warn that this is not a universal solution, but rather a complementary strategy for well-being. Frequent myths about the risks of fasting are systematically deconstructed by the academic community. Contrary to popular belief, experts demonstrate that when practiced properly, fasting does not pose a threat to muscle mass or metabolism. On the contrary, it can enhance processes of organic regeneration. The ethical perspective of this practice has also gained prominence. Health professionals emphasize the importance of understanding fasting as more than a mere nutritional technique, but as a philosophy of self-care that respects the individual rhythms of the organism. Different cultural traditions are recognized as important sources of knowledge. Communities that have historically practiced fasting, such as Eastern societies and religious groups, provide valuable insights on how this practice can be integrated harmoniously into daily life. International researchers have investigated how different populations incorporate fasting into their routines. Results suggest that there is no one-size-fits-all model, but multiple approaches that can be adapted according to social contexts and individual needs. The contemporary perception surpasses simplistic views. Fasting is not seen as a passing trend, but as a grounded scientific strategy that invites individuals to develop a more conscious relationship with their metabolic processes and eating patterns. Experts agree that the key to safe practice lies in education, professional guidance, and attentive listening to bodily signals. Transformation arises not from rigid impositions, but from a sensitive and respectful understanding of internal healing mechanisms. The moment to close our dialogue on fasting arrives, laden with inspiration and transformative possibilities. We revisit journeys of organic regeneration, impressive scientific benefits, and practical strategies for implementing this revolutionary practice. Our call is simple: experiment, observe your body, respect your rhythms. Each person carries a unique health story, and fasting may hold the key to unlocking surprising potentials of vitality. Science invites us to rethink our relationship with food, time, and self-care. Transformation begins with a simple move of openness and curiosity.